Hey y'all, it's Sydney from Cynsus. Today we have Steve, Austin, and Marva from Nubian Roots Tea. They source coffee across the diaspora. I'm so excited for you to meet them, so come on in.
Hey Cynsus, we are Nubian Roots Coffee and Tea. We source coffee and tea directly from the diaspora. Super excited to connect with you all today. Come right along. So yeah, we all proud brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity incorporated. Me and Marva went to the University of Tennessee together, and I met Austin here in Dallas. But of course, a lot of great just connections over the years, and we all had different stories and thoughts about what we wanted to do with coffee. I'll start off with myself. I work in corporate as well as just enjoying curating experiences outside of the office. I've always looked at places that I enjoy to just relax and think and do some of my best creative thinking. And it typically happened at coffee shops. So during COVID, I'm working remote. I'm working at a coffee shops doing some creative thinking. And I was like, wow, I want to learn the story of coffee. So I deep dove into coffee, thought about how I would want to launch a coffee brand. And similar around the same time, I'll let Marva kind of tell more about how he is kind of accepted.
Yeah, so Marva Morrow, I handle finance and operation for Nubian Roots Coffee and Tea. And for me, coffee is nostalgia. Growing up, small town Tennessee, my dad, he drank coffee every day. Like that's how he grew up. And so for me, just smelling coffee, the smell of coffee, fresh brewed coffee, it's nostalgia. It reminds me of home. It's peace. It's the comfort of it. So as Steve mentioned, really it's about the connective tissue of how you feel when you're smelling a cup of coffee.
Okay. Yeah. So Austin, how? For me, it was really just about being able to lay a foundation with other brothers and something that we're all passionate about, right? And understanding that how it connects the community. Coffee shops are a huge fabric of every community that they're placed in, and so when I found out that we all have that same goal and all have that same interest, it was just moving forward and saying, let's not wait, let's get this started, and we were able to do that. So
A big part of it was we wanted people to understand a little more about the history of coffee. So Nubian Roots, our whole goal and focus is to take it from the diaspora, right? So not even just specifically Africa, but anywhere you can see us, melanin, and coffee is typically in those environments, in family-owned farms. So we want people here in the States and all over, right, to get a taste of that. So, long-term goal would be you're able to go to Nubian Roots website or a Nubian Roots location, and you're able to pick coffee or tea from Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, all the way down to Brazil, look over to Jamaica, again, anywhere in the diaspora. We want people to get a taste of that coffee and tea.
Yeah, it took about 2 years to get we had logo created, identified, but just the concept of what we really wanted and how we wanted to really just think about how we wanted to execute our brand and position our brand, but also we wanted to make sure we had the correct partner when we did the launch for the coffee.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing process, right? So we actually have a couple different family-owned locations. Again, we're looking at, right now we have Ethiopia, we're looking at bringing on Ghanaian coffee, Kenyan coffee and tea, Moroccan coffee and tea. So it's been an ongoing thing, but the The sourcing aspect has been a little bit of all three of us utilizing not only our networks, but also digging online, right? It's pretty tough without us physically being there to create those pipelines. So a lot of our networks have had family members that live in Ethiopia, partners that might have done business before in Jamaica, right? So we look at how can we capitalize on all of those opportunities and help not only those locally, grown farms get more capital, but how do we now source that directly here? And of course, with the current administration, it's always some different things that kind of pop up with, those taxes going up a little higher. So then we have to change the routing and change how that gets here. So that's what I would say also went into the 2-year process, to making sure that regardless of what was going on, you can still get it directly from the farms, directly here to our roasters here. So the first coffee beans, right? The story of like where coffee came from. A lot of people think it started in Colombia, and then it was, extracted from there. Actually, coffee first source was from Ethiopia. So in Ethiopia, coffee was, as we want to bring it here to the States, right? More communal. It was every house, every place, they would share coffee with their neighbors. They would share coffee with visitors. And it was just a way just to not only entertain guests, but to also have a conversation, see what's going on with their family, with their kids, see how their day was going. So we wanted to actually bring a taste of that type of communal aspect here. So a little bit of both, right? Definitely had a strong connection with a family that was able to source it directly, but also that's where it started. So that was a huge push for us to start there. So we, again, partnerships, one of our biggest things that I like to contribute as well, to connecting the dots. So we have a lot of different relationships, not only with like coffee shops and restaurants. One, shout out Mocha Coffee Tea. That's where we're at now for this podcast. But again, these are all partnerships and relationships that we've grown, not only personally throughout our networks, to really help have different avenues that our coffee can be at, but also as well that kind of embodies that communal aspect, right? So whether you're at, a couple of different restaurants, whether you're at coffee shops, we want Nubian Roots to be a staple in regards to like some of the things that you can order, the taste is going to be directly from the farm. It's not going to be mixed in with other things. And then to piggyback, we do different events where, such as like, we did an event earlier this year with a group called Book Week, right? So Booked and Busy, they do a lot of different book club events. We provide the coffee for Booked and Busy. The Dallas Regional Chambers, we're looking at having our coffee at their events as well. So again, different environments, both professional and social, so we can have our coffee to the source that brought those people not only together, but they can enjoy it while they're doing their meetings, whether that's corporately, personally, or socially.
Sourcing the product, and not the product of the coffee product, but the products, the cans, so the packaging. That's been the biggest thing, the hardest thing for us is, as you can see, we have this particular design that we came out with, right? And it's just tough to really think about, like, when you're going through the creative process, as I mentioned before, there are things that you want to have on there in details, and it's really hard to get across some of the communication barriers, because obviously we're working with our suppliers in China, and so it's really hard to get across language barriers. And then also we had a little bit of we were affected a little bit by the tariffs, as you mentioned before. So that's been, I would say, the toughest part.
Also, another one is just with any business, right? It's the keeping the pipeline full, so to say, right? So ensuring that we are at places where we need to be, but also the demand for, the coffee, tea, and all the environments there. So, that's something I think all businesses always are focused on, but we're always looking at how can we grow our accounts, right? How can we grow where our coffee can be enjoyed and consumed at? So that is, I would say, not really a challenge, but it's going to be an ongoing thing that we have to overcome. Is scaling up where our coffee is located, where can we consume it.
Yeah, so what next is continuing to build the brand, right? Continuing to look at different areas throughout the diaspora that we can build relationships, right? So we want to be able to look at Jamaica and the Blue Hills and have offerings, because that's one of the fertile environment as well. We want to look at Brazil and also throughout Africa as well. So that's definitely next. But once again, we spoke about the community element of Nubian Roots. And with that, we want to make sure we're placed in communities that brings people together, right? And so just like with different communities, they love when Starbucks come, right? Starbucks is not necessarily in everybody's community. We will be in those communities that are normally neglected, right? So we want to be able to build that brand and association with those communities. We're looking at working with HBCUs as well, right? And working in their communities. And so that is a few of those steps that we're planning to take relatively soon, as well as we want to be, like Steve said, in social spots, right? There is coffee. There's also espresso martini. We do know people love to drink, right? And so we want to be in lounges. We want to be in clubs, right? As well as being able to work with other coffee shops, right? And get our beans in coffee shops as well. So full offerings and being able to put together events ourselves as we're currently doing. So that is the future for us. Hopefully that will materialize in the next 18 months.
Also, I'll throw it in. So Nubian Roots C&T is for coffee and tea.
Yeah.
So tea is on the way. We hear you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the questions we get a lot. Tea is actually a little bit harder to find. We like to find flavors in places that have palatable teas, because again, we're sourcing out to a lot of different places, accounts. So we're trying to find like good tea as it sits without you having to add too much to it. It's been a little process, but the tea is definitely on the way. So that's definitely something that we're super excited about, to be able to offer tea for all you tea drinkers.
And for our people who are like me and it's nostalgia, we're gonna have our coffee scented candle line coming as well. So be on the lookout for that.
And Steve is over our FUBU line. So
I mean, if you like it,
we'll be starting, getting shirts out there, different designs, different messaging that you would see on the different apparel as well. So we have a lot coming.
What do you need to grow the business right now? Like, there was an investor that was like, I have money. Like, what do you
Capital.
need?
We want to put a number on it. It's capital. That's going to be the same answer for the majority of small businesses. And feedback from anybody who purchased anything from us, those that came across our website. Once again, we built this for our community, and to hear back from our community is key to growth. So that would be the biggest thing for me.
And then I would say, just on top of that, support, right? Like if you're having a meeting or a gathering, coffee may be a good option to be there, right? Whether that's a book club reading, whether that's a watch party and you guys can express your routines, like all the things that you can utilize coffee for, we would love to be the first coffee brand you think of to have there. And we're open to catering events, we're open to all of these, so that would be huge. And yeah, getting back to the roots of anywhere people are together, socializing, building a community, we want that coffee to be right there, a part of that foundation. Back to the Nubian Roots. Thank you so much for having us today, Cynsus. If you all want to find more about Nubian Roots or place an order, you can find us on Nubian Roots CT on Instagram, and NubianRootsCT.com is our website. Thank you.